Whatever brought you here today, stay with this video for a few minutes. Because one of the biggest financial questions in the modern economy is no longer simply, who is growing the fastest? The more important question is, can growth survive the cost of creating it? Artificial intelligence is transforming the global technology economy, but the transformation requires enormous spending on advanced computing systems, data infrastructure, electricity, research, and specialized talent. The companies building this infrastructure are generating immense expectations about future productivity and revenue. Yet the financial strength of those businesses is increasingly being tested by how much capital they must spend before the promised returns fully arrive. So, is artificial intelligence making major technology businesses stronger, or is rapid expansion creating a new financial vulnerability? The answer depends on the difference between growth and financial strength. A business can report rapidly increasing revenue and still become financially weaker if its costs, capital spending, debt obligations, and cash requirements grow even faster. Revenue measures what enters the business through sales. Financial strength asks a harder question. After paying for operations, infrastructure, employees, interest, taxes, and future investment, how much financial flexibility remains? That distinction matters because artificial intelligence requires a different economic model from ordinary software growth. A digital product can sometimes serve millions of additional users at relatively low incremental cost. Advanced artificial intelligence systems, however, require expensive computing capacity every time demand expands. More users can mean more revenue, but they can also mean more servers, more electricity, more specialized hardware, and greater infrastructure investment. This creates a financial question that investors and ordinary households should recognize immediately. When does growth become expensive enough to weaken the organization producing it? Imagine a household whose income rises from 100,000 rupees a month to 150,000 rupees. That sounds like financial progress. But if the household simultaneously increases its rent, loan payments, subscriptions, travel, and other commitments until monthly spending rises from 70,000 rupees to 145,000 rupees, the income growth has not created much additional financial strength. The same principle applies to businesses. A larger income stream does not automatically create a stronger financial position. What matters is the relationship between cash coming in, cash going out, and the amount of flexibility remaining after essential commitments are paid. This is why the artificial intelligence investment boom raises a question beyond technology. How much spending can a business sustain before future growth begins consuming present financial resilience? The answer depends on return on investment. If a business spends heavily on infrastructure and that investment eventually produces significantly greater revenue and cash flow, the spending may strengthen the organization over time. But if investment continues rising while the financial return remains uncertain, the business becomes increasingly dependent on future expectations. That creates a dangerous psychological pattern. When investors become convinced that a technology will transform the future, they may tolerate enormous present spending because they are mentally valuing the future before it has fully arrived. The assumption becomes, the returns will come later. Sometimes they do, but financial history repeatedly demonstrates that a promising future is not the same as a profitable present. This is also why the artificial intelligence boom is relevant to personal finance. Many people make the same mistake with their own money. They assume future income will rise, future investments will perform, future opportunities will appear, and future technology will make life easier. Then they make present financial commitments based on those assumptions. The result is income growth without financial resilience. So, how should a person think about financial strength when the economy itself is changing? The first question is not, how much money do I earn? It is, how much of my financial life depends on continued growth? If your expenses rise every time your income rises, your lifestyle may be expanding faster than your security. If your investments require constant optimism to remain comfortable, your financial plan may be more fragile than it appears. If your career depends entirely on one skill that technology can increasingly perform, your current income may be strong while your future earning ability remains uncertain. Artificial intelligence makes this question more urgent because it can increase productivity while simultaneously changing the value of human skills. A person who learns how to use new tools may become more productive. A person who ignores them may gradually become less competitive. But the deeper risk is assuming that technology automatically creates prosperity for everyone. Technology creates opportunities, but financial strength depends on how effectively individuals and businesses convert those opportunities into sustainable cash flow. This is where the quality associated with Lord Hanuman becomes practically relevant. Hanuman represents immense capability combined with discipline, humility, and service. The lesson is not simply to become more powerful, it is to use power correctly. For a business, that means asking whether technological capability is producing durable financial strength rather than merely impressive expansion. For an individual, it means asking whether higher income is creating savings, liquidity, skills, and freedom rather than simply creating larger obligations. And psychologically, it means developing the courage to examine numbers that challenge our optimism. A person may feel successful because income is rising. A business may appear unstoppable because demand is rising. Yet both must eventually answer the same financial question. After the growth is paid for, what remains? That question separates expansion from strength. The future of artificial intelligence may indeed create extraordinary productivity and economic opportunity. But the businesses investing most aggressively will still have to prove that the enormous cost of building that future can eventually generate sustainable returns. And the same principle applies to your own financial life. Growth is valuable, but growth that requires permanently increasing spending is not the same as strength. A rising income is useful, but income that disappears into rising commitments does not automatically create freedom. New technology can create opportunity. But opportunity becomes resilience only when it is converted into durable skills, sustainable cash flow, and financial flexibility. This is why gratitude matters. Gratitude does not mean refusing growth. It means recognizing the value of what already exists before increasing the cost of maintaining your life. It protects the mind from the endless psychological demand to expand simply because expansion is possible. And devotion to Lord Hanuman can strengthen the discipline required to face change without panic, learn without arrogance, act without paralysis, and remain humble when success arrives. The financial lesson from artificial intelligence spending is therefore remarkably practical. Growth does not guarantee strength. The strongest business is not necessarily the one spending the most, growing the fastest, or attracting the greatest expectations. And the strongest financial life is not necessarily the one with the highest income. Strength is what remains after the cost of growth has been paid. So, as technology transforms the economy and businesses spend heavily to capture the future, one question deserves to remain with you. If your income, investments, or opportunities stopped growing tomorrow, how much financial strength would still remain? That answer may reveal more about your true financial position than growth ever could. With gratitude for what is already present, courage to adapt to what is changing, and the disciplined strength associated with Lord Hanuman, the goal is not simply to grow endlessly. The goal is to become strong enough that growth becomes an opportunity, not a necessity for survival.